What is up, guys? Commander Alex here, and today we are talking about Alpha. I finally get to show her to you guys. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but here she is, Alpha. Alright, so can I zoom in? I can't zoom in. Okay. So this is what she looks like. She's kind of like a robot mech. If you guys know her lore, basically she was a human and then they like ripped her apart and did all this stuff to her and basically turned her into a robot, but there's still a tiny bit of human left inside of her. So let's pick up some pot of gold level juice here, and we can show off all the different abilities, as well as I'm going to give kind of what I feel are good items on her. Now obviously the items that I choose are maybe not the best, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But I personally like going for an Aftershock on her. I like going for Broken Myth, Shattered Glass. And then after that is kind of whatever. Obviously I get boots in her. Sometimes I like to go for a kind of tanky build with a Crucible Fountain. Sometimes I like to go for a little bit more I'm going to kill you build with just a fountain and then like an Eve of Harvest. So that's the kind of stuff I like to go for on her. Personally, I play her as an assassin, though I have seen people play her more as like a warrior tank, just taking people out left and right, which is a different play style. But there's the build we're going to go with. Let's get her abilities up here, and I will show you guys how each and every one of them work, as well as explain them to you, because they're pretty complicated abilities. So her first one is actually, in my opinion, her simplest one. Basically, she sends out this scanning ray in a line if it hits an enemy turret, an enemy hero, a jungle minion, or a jungle boss camp. It's going to dash to that target, and it's going to do it pretty much instantly. So let's try it. Let's try it on a minion over here. That way we don't get turret aggro. Okay, so right here, you see the minion? This is the range of it. See, she sends out that scanning laser, hits the thing, and then I automatically dash to it. So this is really awesome for a melee character because you have great wave clear. Now, some things to note about this is when you dash to the enemy or whatever it is that you're dashing to, you're going to appear behind them, and you're also going to slow them slightly. And then this ability's damage also scales off of how many stacks you have from the passive of your B ability. Also, you should note that this takes away the negative effects of your B ability's passive. So let's move on to your B ability, because that's obviously one of the more important aspects of your A ability. So first off, every time you use it, you're going to dash to an enemy, and you're going to apply an auto attack, on hit effects, and then some crystal damage in a small area. So basically, it's like a crystal power empowered auto attack that is slightly AoE damage. Also, when you do it, you're going to deal 10% of your max health damage, or your current health damage to yourself, as well as you're going to apply a bleed to yourself that is 1% of your current health per second. Now, if you end up using your A after this, it's going to keep the positive extra damage that you get from each stack, but it's actually going to make the bleed effect go away. So if you're really low on health and you don't want that bleed effect, you can alt to something, or not alt, you can use your A towards something, and then that's going to disappear the bleed effects, which is really nice because over time it does deal quite a bit of damage. That's why I like going for an Eve of Harvest instead of a little bit tankier build, and the reason for that is that the massive crystal damage you do tends to heal you up for the amount of health that each of your abilities cost. And that's the other thing I should note. You don't have a health bar, and that is due to your passive. Your passive basically means that your abilities don't cost anything except for your B costs health. I think it's 10% of your health, and your A either doesn't cost anything or it costs 1% of your health. I'll have to look that up. But basically, your passive means that whenever you die, you don't die. You die, and then you go into this reboot cycle, and if the enemy team doesn't kill you again before the reboot is over, you come back to life with a pretty good amount of health based on how much health you had during that reboot cycle. So basically, you can die, and as long as your passive is up, you're going to come back to life, which is really cool. But note, if you die and your passive has already been used and is off cooldown, or is on cooldown, you're going to just die. The other really cool thing about your passive is it works in conjunction with your ultimate. Now, your ultimate is basically like I'm gonna be a suicide bomber. That's pretty much what it is. So you press it, you get a burst of movement speed, and you get this giant health barrier, but your actual health disappears. Now, once that health barrier ticks down to 0, you explode, which is really awesome and looks amazing. So let's show that right here. You're gonna use it, you get the massive health barrier, and then once it disappears, you explode, and once you explode, you kill yourself, but you also go into your reboot cycle. And again, if you get through that reboot cycle without being killed, you come back to life with a little bit of health. Now keep in mind, you can't use your ultimate unless your passive is up, because then you would just be killing yourself, and even the Vainglory devs aren't that mean. So to kind of sum it up, guys, basically your A is a really long range dash, your B is a short range dash that heals you for a little bit of the damage it deals, as well as increases the damage of your A, but also takes a good bit of your health to use. It stacks up to 3 different times. Your ultimate uses your passive, which is basically you come back to life when you die, and when you use your ultimate, you blow up, dealing AoE damage to enemies around you. So there's all of her different abilities for you guys. Really quick, I wanted to give these to you guys in like a small of a package as possible. Tell me if you guys like these short, compact guides instead of these long, drawn-out things, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See ya. Also, information on the 3 fortress skins coming to the game in like a second, so talk to you guys then.